Hi guys, I'm going to be reading the next few chapters of our Magic Treehouse adventure, Dinosaurs Before Dark. Chapter 3, Where is Here? Jack looked out the window. He looked down at the picture in the book. He looked back out the window. The world outside and the world in the picture were exactly the same. The pteranodon was soaring through the sky. The ground was covered with ferns and tall grass. There was a winding stream, a sloping hill, and volcanoes in the distance. Where are we? Stammered Jack. The pteranodon glided down to the base of their tree. The creature costed to a stop and stood very still. What happened to us? Said Annie. She looked at Jack. He looked at her. I don't know, said Jack. I was looking at the picture in the book and you said, wow, I wish I could see a pteranodon for real, said Annie. Yeah, then we saw one in Frog Creek Woods. Yeah. And then when the wind got loud and the treehouse started spinning, said Annie. And we landed here, said Jack. And we landed here, said Annie. So that means, said Jack. So it means what? Said Annie. Nothing. He shook his head. None of this can be real. Annie looked out the window again. But he's real, she said. He's very real. Jack looked out the window with her. The pteranodon was standing at the base of the oak tree like a guard. His giant wings were spread out either side of him. Hi, Annie shouted. Shh, we're not supposed to be here. But where is here? Said Annie. I don't know, said Jack. Hi, Annie called again to the creature. The pteranodon looked up at them. Where is here? Annie called down. You're nuts. He can't talk, said Jack. But maybe the book can tell us. Jack looked down at the book. He read the words under the picture. This flying reptile lived in the Crocid period. It vanished 65 million years ago. No, it's impossible. They couldn't have landed in a time 65 million years ago. Jack, said Annie. He's nice. Nice? Yeah, I can tell. Let's go down and talk to him. Talk to him? Annie started down the rope ladder. Hey! Shouted Jack, but Annie kept going. Are you crazy? Jack called. Annie dropped to the ground. She stepped boldly up to the ancient creature. Chapter 4, Henry. Jack gasped at Annie and held out her hand. Oh, brother, she's always trying to make friends with animals. But this was going too far. Don't get close to him, Annie, Jack shouted, but Annie touched the pteranodon's crest. She stroked his neck. She was talking to him. What in the world was she saying? Jack took a deep breath. Okay, he would go down too. It would be good to examine the creature. Take notes, like a scientist. Jack started down the rope ladder. When he got to the ground, Jack was only a few feet away from the creature. The creature started at Jack. His eyes were bright and alert. He's soft, Jack, said Annie. He feels like Henry. Jack snorted. He's no dog, Annie. Feel him, Jack, said Annie. Jack didn't move. Don't think, Jack. Just do it. Jack stepped forward and put out his arm very cautiously. He brushed his hand down the creature's neck. Interesting. A thin layer of fuzz covered the pteranodon's skin. Soft, huh? Said Annie. And Jack reached into his backpack and pulled out a pencil and a notebook. He wrote, "Fuzzy skin." "What are you doing?" asked Annie. "Taking notes," said Jack. "We're probably the first people in the whole world to see a real-life pteranodon." Jack looked at the pteranodon again. The creature had a bony crest on top of his head. The crest was longer than Jack's arm. "I wonder how smart he is," Jack said. "Very smart," said Annie. "Don't count on it. His brain is probably no bigger than a bean." "No, he's very smart. I can feel it," said Annie. "I'm going to call him Henry," Jack wrote in his small book, Small Brain. Jack looked at the creature again. "Maybe he's a murrant," he said. The creature tilted his head. Annie laughed. "He's no murrant." Jack, "Well, what's he doing here then? Where is this place?" said Jack. Annie leaned close to the pteranodon. "Do you know where we are, Henry?" she asked softly. The creature fixed his eyes on Annie. His long jaws were opening and closing like a giant pair of scissors. "Are you trying to talk to me, Henry?" asked Annie. "Forget it, Annie," he wrote in his notebook, "mouth like scissors." "Did we come to a long time ago, Henry?" asked Annie. "Is this place from a long time ago?" Suddenly she gasped. "Jack!" He looked up. Annie was pointing toward the hill. On top of it stood a huge dinosaur. Chapter 5. Gold in the Grass. "Go, go!" said Jack. He threw his notebook into his pack. He pushed Annie toward the rope ladder. "Bye, Henry," she said. "Go," said Jack. He gave Annie a big push. "Quit!" she said, but she started up the ladder. Jack scrambled after her. They tumbled into the treehouse. They were painting as they looked out the window at the dinosaur. He was standing on the hilltop eating flowers off a tree. "Oh man," whispered Jack. "We are in a long time ago." The dinosaurs looked as huge as rhinoceroses. Only he had 3 horns instead of 1, 2 long ones above his eyes, 1 on his nose. He had a big shield-like thing behind his head. "Triceratops," said Jack. "Does he eat people?" whispered Annie. "I'll look it up." Jack grabbed the dinosaur book. He flipped through the pages. "There!" He pointed to a picture of Triceratops. He read the caption. "Triceratops lived in the late Cretaceous period. This plant-eating dinosaur weighed over 12,000 pounds." Jack slammed the book shut. "Just plants, no meat." "Let's go see him," said Annie. "Are you nuts? Don't you want to take notes about him?" asked Annie. "We're probably the first people in the whole world to ever see a real-life Triceratops." Jack sighed. She was right. "Let's go," he said. He shoved the dinosaur book into his pack. He slung it over his shoulder and started down the rope ladder. On the way down, Jack stopped. He called up to Annie. "Just promise you won't pet him." "Promise." "I promise." "Promise you won't kiss him." "I promise." "Promise you won't talk to him." I promise. Promise you won't. Go, go, she said. Jack went. Annie followed. When they stepped off the ladder, the pteranodon gave them a kind of look. Annie blew a kiss at him. Be back soon, Henry, she said cheerfully. Shh, said Jack, and he led the way through the ferns, slowly and carefully. When he reached the bottom of the hill, he kneeled behind a fat bush. Annie knelt beside him and started to speak. Shh! Jack put his fingers to his lips. Annie made a face. Jack peeked out on the Triceratops. The dinosaur was incredibly big, bigger than a truck. He was eating flowers off a magnolia tree. Jack slipped his notebook out of his pack. He wrote, "Eat flowers." Annie nudged him. Jack ignored her. He studied the Triceratops again. He wrote, "Eat slowly." Annie nudged him hard. Jack looked at her. Annie pointed to herself. She walked her fingers through the air. She pointed to the dinosaur. She smiled. Was she teasing? She waved at Jack, Jack started to grab her. She laughed and jumped away. She fell into the grass in full view of the Triceratops. Get back, whispered Jack. Too late. The big dinosaur had spotted Annie. He gazed down at her from the hilltop. Half of the magnolia flowers was sticking out of his mouth. Oops, said Annie. Get back, Jack shouted at her. He looks nice, Jack. Nice? Watch out for his horns, Annie. No, he's nice, Jack. Nice? But the Triceratops just gazed calmly down at Annie. Then he turned and looped away down the side of the hill. Bye, said Annie. She turned back to Jack. See? Jack grunted. He wrote in his notebook, nice. Come on, let's look around some more, said Annie. As Jack stared after Annie, he saw something glittering in the tall grass. He reached out and picked it up. A medallion, a gold medallion. A letter was engraved on the medallion. A fancy M. Oh man, someone came here before us, Jack said softly. That's it for today. See you in my next video. Bye!